Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas. This is me coming at you from the hotel here in Berlin, Germany. We're going to talk today with our distinguished panel once again, this time about yesterday's happenings, yesterday's semifinals, and of course, what we are to expect tomorrow on Sunday, the championship game. To start, before I introduce my two guys that we see on the screen right now, I'm going to come out and say it before we start that it wasn't the greatest Final Four semifinals we've ever seen. The atmosphere was incredible as usual, but the games were a little bit questionable. We're going to get into that with our distinguished guests. Of course, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Coach Panagiotis Giannakis here with us tonight once again, and our man from Turkey, Ismail Senol, joining me here on the Crossover with Joe Arlauckas. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Once again, we're missing David Rivers, but I'm hoping we're going to see him in a minute because I really want to hear. I talked to David this morning, and he had a lot to say. Let's say he had a lot to speak about. So if we get him on in time, we're going to have to talk to him and let him speak a little bit. But right now, I want to start right off the bat. Welcome the two of you, and let's jump right in because we know we got some time. Coach, I'm going to you first. Panathinaikos, Fenerbahce. I want to talk about the coaching. I want to talk about the difference in the coaching. I want to talk about Coach Adaman and Coach Giannakis. What's your grade? What's your grade point level on for them?
I want to say good things about the way of the stars of Panathinaikos saw the game. They started with defensively aggressiveness and gave confidence to the team from the beginning. They keep pressing and go inside the basket to Fenerbahce and make them don't think at all what they want to do, because from the beginning of the discuss about the games Fenerbahce Panathinaikos, we saw more power for Fenerbahce to have big guys inside the basket, and also many solutions to play with the different size players during the game. But the defense of Panathinaikos make them out of any thinking about what they want to do. So this make Panathinaikos to feel comfortable with the team, because we know that Panathinaikos, they had only Lesor inside the basket, right, but they never lose their confidence for the game. I think that during the game pass through, Panathinaikos feel more comfortable, and Fener didn't have anything to do in offense. And when they arrived so close in the second half, they did have a clear plan to hit the weaknesses of Panathinaikos.
Yeah.
Panathinaikos keep working hard, none getting better decisions, and every player who comes in from Panathinaikos gave something good for the team. Even Kalaitzakis goes in and gave 2-3 minutes good attitude for the game and be ready for any
He made a huge
possession.
3-pointer too. Big 3-pointer by him.
When he has the opportunity to hit from the threes, he made it. But the attitude, you saw all the attitudes from the players of Panathinaikos was incredible focus.
Yeah.
And very aggressive. No one possession was easy for Fener. I saw 3-4 times to attack and close out against Slukas, but I didn't see anything else. I saw from Panathinaikos, the other side, that one Grant read that Wilbekin was on him, goes close to the basket, push a little bit with the shoulder, stay back, and take an easy 2 points when Panathinaikos has a problem to score. That's make me to feel that these guys knows how they're gonna read the situations and to play comfortable against the defense of Fener.
Yeah, I think Jerry and Grant. I think Jerry and Grant was the key to the game from the beginning of the game. He took over control. He did what it almost looked like he was Kendrick Nunn for a minute in the beginning of the game. And Ismail, I'm going to go to you real quick because you've been watching Fener all year long. At one point at the end of the season, they were averaging more than 90 points a game when it was the most important part of the season, when they were the hottest team in the league. 57 points. They were smothered in the second half. I don't think they got one open shot in the second half. And if they got one, there was nobody there to get a rebound either. It was just so dominant by Panathinaikos throughout those 20 minutes. But it was 51-50 with 7 minutes left in the game. Were you thinking that they had to make a run at this point?
Honestly, I didn't, because the main problem is, like, first of all, how Fener scored those 100 points and how did they break their own offensive records. It was mostly because of running. You remember in the preview show we also talked about this too. And when they run, they're very effective. But Panathinaikos had the ball and how they run. It's all about Nikolatis. So Panathinaikos had the ball pressuring guards on Kalatis. So it was really tough for them to start their breaks. So even on transition, it was with Kalatis like this, it was really tough. How did they come back? They came back because Kostas Loukas didn't have his best days. So he didn't have his best day. And then Ergin Ataman had to make a decision. Is he going to force Slukas again, or does he have to leave? Is he gonna get Kostas out and then he will go to a defensive lineup? So it was a tough. I can say it's a brave decision because Slukas is a Final Four legend. He can win games by himself. But I think the decision of Ergin Ataman was really important, that he took Slukas out. He put Kalaitzakis in. And as you both said, the left corner three of Kalaitzakis came at that moment when everything was about to be broken. Everything seemed like, hey, maybe Fener is making a comeback. But this is the main reason. I think the decision of Ergin Ataman by going to Kalaitzakis had a lot of impact in this game. Also for Fenerbahce, I think Coach Jasikevičius started in this game. He started with an offensive lineup with Jonathan Motley at 5. But Coach Giannakis, you both have been in those situations in Final Four. In Final Four, it's not about fancy things. In Final Four, it's not about finesse. It's about this, like you have to fight, you have to go, and what happened is like Matthias Lesor and Panathinaikos, they were ready to fight. They were, getting contact. You can be a tough player by just getting contact, but Panathinaikos players were the initiators of the contact yesterday. I think it's a big, big, big difference. So this is why I think with 12-0, this is the first thing. And the second thing, Coach Jasikevičius, I think, had two different lineups that he had a strategy. He wanted to take Lesor out of the paint to clean the paint for his ISO players. But Sertaç Şanlı couldn't provide really well. Also, he had to have some small lineups with Sestina or Hayes at 5. But that small lineups is favoring Panathinaikos, because that means Coach Ergin Ataman could put Lesor out for a breath so he could get his energy back, and put Dinos Mitoglu at 5. So it really worked for Olympiacos. And then there were too many.
I thought Ataman did an incredible job of moving his rotation. I just real quick, I want to make sure that the people watching along the bottom of your screen send in your questions, because we'd love to get some questions. And probably we're going to gear questions more towards the championship game. But if anybody has a question now about the semifinals, we'll take them also. But I want to go back to the fact that, Jerry and Grant, I thought, was the key to this game. Everybody talks about Matthias Lesor. Everybody talks about the way Panathinaikos played. Their defense was incredible. But I just think, of course, in the so-called absence of Slukas, Jerry and Grant, who was the Euro Cup MVP last year, is one of the best pickups of the year. Yesterday or 2 days ago, we talked about Nunn being so important to this team, but Grant does it defensively also, and I think he was the key to that game for Panathinaikos.
This is true, Joe, and I want to tell you something else also. Mitoglu made a great job.
Yes,
because he covered Hayes. He gave a lot of help. He didn't score, but he made excellent job on this, and I think that this was another key without fancy, without to see something incredible. For me, Panathinaikos destroyed Fener. If they play 60 minutes,
yes, exactly.
Fener couldn't have any idea to play something offensively or defensively.
Yeah,
I remember when Welbekin tried to play pick and roll to take a shot, Lesor attack on him and take 2-3 balls on his head.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable how they played defensively.
It was
another thing. They had only Lesor in the paint, but Lesor never had any bother from the big guys of Fener.
Nobody.
He played just pick and roll defense and run back, and that's all. Nobody attacked on him. Nobody played hard on him. He played all the game just for free. Just pick and roll and dunk, make points.
Great. Joe, I think you made a great point on Jerry, and also because we tend to forget his impact during talking about the game, because he's not, fancy. He knows basketball great, and he's a winner. When was the last time that Jerry didn't provide in a big game? He's always there, and he can accept his role, and he's a versatile player that he can play in different conditions. He can be a defender, offensive player. Like yesterday, mid-range pull-ups were really important for him, for Panathinaikos. But I was thinking, having Scottie Pippen might have an effect. Having Scottie Pippen on the sidelines might have an effect, because that he's the nephew of Horace Grant. So maybe I don't know. Having there as a former player, this might hey, I'm here. My uncle. He might have. I don't know, but it seems like he wanted to show off for Mr. Pippen.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Adam is going to buy Scottie Pippen another courtside ticket for the next game, man. I want to talk about one thing. I'm sitting here with the stats here in front of me. This is typical Coach Hardeman now. Matthias Lesort, 31 minutes, 47 seconds. Mitoglu, 26 minutes, almost 27 minutes. Kendrick Nunn, almost 35 minutes. Jerry Grant, 27 minutes. You know, he cuts his rotations down. He's known for this. I like it. I think it's great in a Final Four atmosphere. Coach, give me a quick little rundown of what your thought process is. It worked yesterday, that's for sure. But are they going to be tired tomorrow? I doubt it. It's a championship game. Who's tired in a championship game?
This is true. It's a championship game, so you can play 40 minutes.
You better be able to, in a championship game. You better be ready to play 60, like you just said, and go in and take the heart out of the other team the way they did the Fenerbahce. Because I think Coach Hardeman, you know, Coach Giannakis just has experience in the Final Four, but it's not good experience. And Coach Hardeman has good experiences in the Final Four, and I think that made a huge difference yesterday.
Yeah, I think, look, the Final Four is a tournament. It's 3 days. That's all. So you have to take your best. You have to work on this and to try to find who is going to be the best day and to help the team.
But I gotta also say this to his credit, Coach Giannakis didn't created this team. This roster is not his roster. So
True.
This is why maybe this is why he always tried something new. He had a lot of different lineups yesterday, and I think at one point it was too much. I couldn't keep up with the rotations or substitutions he had, because he was trying as a coach. He wanted to try. So I think this year for Fenerbahce, being in the Final Four was a success by itself. So I think it might be too harsh to judge Coach Giannakis or Fenerbahce in the performance about the performance of this game. I think it's better to judge them for next year.
Ismail, you have right, because Sharon has made a great job for Fener. He changed the atmosphere. He changed the way of thinking the team. So, as you said, he was not his team. He take the players and try to make them to understanding how they're gonna be winners. So it's difficult in this situation to take the best from the team. So I agree with you.
Coach, my question is, why is it so difficult? You've been with this team mostly the entire year. You've brought the best out of them already. Why is it difficult in a one-game scenario to keep bringing the best out of them? It doesn't matter if it's not your lineup or not. You've developed this culture throughout the season. Everybody gave you credit for developing this culture. That doesn't mean it stops on Friday night in the semifinal game. I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's difficult because I think the players, they don't pass through with this difficult situation during the season. It's different to play for the trophy than to play for the series for the regular season. It's very it is different, and you don't know the players how they're gonna react from the informations. I'm telling you something. When I started the coaching, I wanted to make the preparation for the team with a lot of pressure to the players. I make outside of the country scrimmage. I went with a difficult countries which I'm gonna play games against. I want to play with the referees from this country because I wanted to put the players to the pressure of bad decisions, bad reaction during the game, to show how they're gonna have clear mind when I give you some information. So this needs time, needs players which you can have a good conversation with them to understanding what means the plan and how we're gonna follow that. That's my idea about how they're gonna build the character of the team.
Coach,
It's not work for the last 3 days.
You're making it pretty obvious why I run the crossover with Joe Arlauckas, and you're one of the best coaches in Greek history, because you just made me look like a fool. And I love your answer, and I love when people correct me, and I love when people get it right. And that's exactly what
I don't want to correct you, Joe.
No.
I want to tell you another way of you.
Listen, people have been correcting me my whole life, and I'm wrong all the time. But we were right the other day about not trying new things in the Final Four. Now I want to go.
For sure.
I want to go to the other game, to the other semifinal, because I think we've crushed that one. Bring the questions in. We're still waiting around for some questions, but we're going to probably use them in the final. But Ismail, I'm going to start with you in the second semifinal. Man, I mean, I don't know what to say about those first 14 minutes of Real Madrid. It was probably, it was the best mix of basketball I've seen from them all year, and I've been around all year long, both offensively and defensively. And, it's so easy to say they were 9 for 14. They were 9 for 13 from 3 points, 9 for 13 from 2 points at one point of the game. And it's like, oh, that's a great offense. But I really feel as though it was their defense in those 15 minutes that just pushed Olympiacos further and further. And Coach, I know when it's your turn, you'll agree with me, but I'm going to start with you. They disrupted this. What we remember, the question we had, the Barzokas basketball. They disrupted it totally. And I thought the scouting report that Chus Mateo used and the way they executed the scouting report on the defensive side was incredible, because even if they didn't make those shots, they would have dominated that game.
That was a great point by you, Joe, because everyone, it's easy to talk when they had 87 points in a Final Four semifinals. It's easy to talk about the offense, and especially how they started. It's easy. They went up to 23 easily, but it was all about the defense. There's an advanced stat. So let me go nerdy right now. It's called kill. The name of this stat is kill. Mm-hmm. 1 kill means 3 consecutive stops. So Real Madrid in this game had 7 kills. Yeah. Panathinaikos had 10 kills against Fenerbahce, by the way. 7 kills against Olympiacos 7 times. That means, 21 possessions. But it's a 3 consecutive possession is too much not to score, because we're talking about Real Madrid, easily 1 point per possession. So like boom, boom, boom. And they go up like this. And it was because of the beginning of the game. And when you had Tavares and when you had Campazzo having the ball pressure like this, even when Fabian Cazor came in, boom, he was effective defensively. So I didn't even check in the end. I didn't even check the stat sheet, but I saw that maybe, putting Chacho, and Chacho is special because of some different things, but how they reacted together on defense, I was like, okay, but Olympiacos was passing the ball, okay, 1 pass, 2 pass, but it was all parallel passes. Yeah. It was all parallel passes. Like they couldn't go inside. So I was like really surprised, and how they came defensively. And I totally agree with you. And 7 kills in a semifinal game is incredible. Of course, Panathinaikos did 10 also. That's also incredible. Yeah. But yesterday we were talking about how, offensive versatility is important, but we came to the Final Four again, and here we go. It's defense again.
But some of those kills that you're talking about were at a very pivotal time in the second half when they were trying to make a run, and they lost 3 balls in a row. They missed a couple shots, and Madrid got the ball and scored. And man, when you get that lead down to like 8 or 10 like they did, and then all of a sudden it pops back up to 13, it's devastating. Coach, I want to go to you now about one thing. Before the game, we highlighted the Thomas Walkup, Facundo Campazzo matchup against Thomas Walkup being named the best defender in the league this season. And my point was, whoa, time out. he got the award, but Capasso to me is almost at times a better defender because of everything he does. Walkup is a good one-on-one, man-to-man defender. Capasso's everywhere, man. He's at people's ankles. He's at their knees. He's at their feet. He gets offensive fouls. He does everything. And I thought that his defense was the key, especially getting that offensive foul at the end against McKissick.
Before I answer this, I want to say something. The video of Coach Matteo show Olympiacos how aggressive they play, so gave motivation to his player that look that guy how hungry they are to play defense. So we have to show that. And if you watch the game and you see the bench of Madrid, how they chilling, they say hello for defensively moves. Go Matteo to stand up Chezoni after a dive for the ball. Rudy came in for 2-3 possessions and he dived for the ball without reason for me, but he dived. So that was the best thing from Real Madrid to control the aggressiveness of Olympiacos. So
and also this is how you like your teams also, Coach Giannakis.
Yeah.
This is your type of basketball.
Yeah, I love that.
Hey, game 2 against Baskonia, they were winning by 20 points at home with 23 seconds left in the game. Capasso dove twice to the floor to save the ball, and Rudy dove the third time in the floor, and they're winning by 20 points. Coach, that's right. Coach, I have a great question that came in from Radebe 17 that I got just sent to me right now. It's coming right to you, Coach. I want to ask the coach, how would he play against Tavares if he were the manager of Panathinaikos? Would you start the duo of Dinos and Juancho at the positions 4 and 5? That's an incredible question. Radebe, hey, shout out to my man Radebe number 17. And I want to hear the coach answer this because you got Lesort, who had one of the best games he's had in a very important moment. But do you pull him out and start Dinos and Juancho?
Look, is a solution which is going to come up during the game. I'm sure for that. So doesn't mean anything if they start, if they're coming after. Panathinaikos has to play with these two guys. Tomorrow, you mean? For the final.
Yes.
So this is one question who is when you're gonna use it is the point. When you're gonna use that. So for me, it's not something special, but you're waiting for that. We're waiting for that. As a coach.
Wait for that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna go point counterpoint with you. Sometimes I start that because I want them to know that I'm gonna pull Tavares away from the basket. I want Mitoglu and I want Juancho out there to maybe shoot some 3-pointers. You know, he has a difficult time a lot of times with guys that shoot the 3-pointers. Tibor Place, Shanley, guys shoot that 3. Tavares has a tough time with them.
This is true, Joe, but you're gonna win with this. What do you think? You're gonna win with 5. They're gonna shoot. The big guys are gonna shoot 7 threes. I don't think so.
But
I don't think so. Maybe for 2, 3 threes is okay, but with the 7, look. To play against the score, let's say Fener play.
Coach, you and I are the old guys here. Let's get the young guy, like he said, the nerd. Let's get the nerd to tell us what the analytical statistics are about the big man shooting 3. Come on, Ismail, give it to me.
You had a great.
I have big guys to give 3 for them, but 2, 3, no 7.
Yeah.
2, 3 possessions is okay. To make crazy a little bit the other coach. Why you let him go out, run? Don't stay back. I told you this guy can shoot 3.
Yeah.
Look, because I I was in the past the same situation. I had the game against SK and I had the big guys to shoot threes. When I saw my big guys to make 3-pointers, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna lose." Because they go always pop out to shoot threes.
But I'm
For
against
me,
this.
is a detail of the game. Is a detail.
I've always said the worst thing that happened is a non-3-point shooter make his first 3-pointer of the game. It's the worst thing that can happen to you.
Okay. Look, even I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, Joe. I'm gonna tell you this. Real Madrid make crazy percentage in the beginning of the game against Olympiacos. At the end, the percentage of the 3-pointers was close. Both teams.
Yes. I'm against this for yeah. Please.
I want don't lose my inside strength to hit the offensive rebounds.
Yeah. I think
Olympiacos second half hit Madrid in the offensive rebounds.
I think it's a tough matchup only because of the fact, Ismail, I think you'll agree with me on this one. Lesor is a different type of big man than Milutinov or Fall. You know, he goes at the basket. He's aggressive. He can draw fouls on Tavares. I think that's the only difference. What do you think?
I'm against this idea for many different reasons. First, as we said before the Final Four, never make a big change at the Final Four, especially not in the final game. So this is the first reason. Second, Matthias Lesor is an emotional leader for this team. So you have to start well. You saw what happened with Fenerbahce when they started with Motley as an offensive game changer during the game. But when you start boom, 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 and then suddenly you lost your plan A, you couldn't find your plan A. So as Coach Giannakis said, this should be a plan B during the game. And third one, I think also there's a mental situation with Matthias Lesor and Edi Tavares, because Lesor is all EuroLeague first team center, Tavares is all EuroLeague second team center. What's the message if you don't start Lesor against Tavares? What's the message that you give to the world? Maybe to your player. You tell Lesor that, hey, I'm afraid of Tavares because he will kill you, and so he's better than you. And then what's Lesor thinking? Tonight, Lesor will think that, hey, tomorrow I'm going to prove everyone that why I'm the EuroLeague all EuroLeague first team and Tavares is the second. So I think also this is something with the players, much better than me, Joe. You had those feelings. I think it's a matchup that Lesor is waiting for. So let him try to fight him. Let him try. Let him die. Tavares will not kill you like this. I think Lesor will do something against Tavares too. But on the other hand, as you said perfectly, Ergin Ataman won against Real Madrid with Sertaç Şanlı, Tibor Pleiss, and let me remind you the 2018 final, Fenerbahce Real Madrid final. In that final, Jan Vesely had a foul trouble, and Nicolo Melli had to play 5, and it was incredible. Melli had an incredible game. But Coach Obradovic had to turn his plan A again in the end of the game, and Vesely played. And they had great Fabian Cazor, Luka Doncic, and Real Madrid won. But I know this is something, this works against Edi Tavares very well, but you cannot change for many different mental reasons to me. I don't know how you feel about the matchup thing.
I like what Coach said. I like the fact that at one point of the game, you kind of sneak it into the lineup, maybe where Chus Mateo doesn't catch it for the first minute and a half and says, oh, I have to adjust my lineup now because all of a sudden Juancho's in the game and I got a couple guys that'll shoot the 3-pointer. But no, I go, man, it's Final Four, man. Matthias Lesor's not coming out of the game as far as I'm concerned. And I think he can get Eddie into some quick foul trouble if he's quick and smart. And
I agree.
It's a risk reward. Like Coach said, are you going to have your big guy shoot 7 3-pointers if you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna have Dinos Mitoglu and Juancho Hernan Gomez win me my final championship from the 3-point line, I'm like, I'll give the ball to Matthias Lesort down low. It'd be much better. That's the way I look at it. But I mean, we've kind of snuck ourselves into this final. I want to just finish with that Real Madrid Olympiacos. Coach, I just didn't. We talked about this before we went on air. Olympiacos left their game in Athens. I mean, they left that. They didn't come out with that attitude. They found it maybe in the second half, but that's the one thing I was most disappointed about in that game, because you can get beat, but the play that meant so much to me was, I don't know if you remember, I think Nunn went to the basket and Poirier blocked the shot, and it looked like it could have been a goaltending, but it was a good block shot. And
was it Goss?
But it might have been Goss, yeah.
Yes.
And nobody on Olympiacos' bench came off like jumped off their chair like, no, that's goaltending,
Yeah.
And like you guys were saying before, Real Madrid was from the first minute, like emotion on the bench, and man, that makes such a difference in a big game.
You don't have you have right. I cannot say anything about that, because I mean that sometimes you can understand it that the team, everything goes bad, and you try to control something. You are looking more than how you play, but you don't follow the referees. You have to have many things to do. You lose control. That's can happen. But I want to give something good for the Olympiacos. To come back after this first half and to fight, it's something.
Yeah.
For me. It's not everything, but it's something. Also, I understand details make the difference. And in the details, everybody make mistake in Olympiacos.
Yeah.
This is true. They didn't follow the small details which they can give the opportunity to give more pressure to Real, because you saw, and Madrid has problem when Olympiacos pressure the second half.
Yeah, but you know what I'm going to tell you, Coach, was what I said at the end of the broadcast. I said to my counterpart, Ronald McIntyre, I said, so many times we've sat here in the booth and we've said, really, let's give a round of applause to the other team because they made such a good effort against Real Madrid, but they still came up as losers.
Yeah.
Nobody around here is giving. You can't give applause for good efforts in the Final Four. It's not a playoff game where you come back and tomorrow and you have a different game. So it's tough. Real Madrid is real. How do you beat them? I want to go into this now because we just got into it. Ismail, you've seen them all year long. You've seen them. You were there witnessing the first game they lost this season. How do you beat Real Madrid? Because the thing that scared me the most, if I'm a player and even I'm a commentator, is you always worry about they took their foot off the gas at the end of the season, and are they going to be capable to turn it back on again when it comes time? And man, they turned it on better than they've had all season. That's scary.
Well, that's really scary, especially when they're starting to make those shots. This is the biggest thing. Real Madrid as an incredible shot-making team that, Hezonja, Musa, Kozur, Yul, Chacho, they can all create their own shots and they can make great pull-up threes, twos, and everything. So they have great shot creators. This is the first thing. But there are some days that they cannot shoot very well, and in Istanbul, Fenerbahce game was one of them. So when they can't shoot threes, this is the first thing. You have to maybe, I don't know, pray or do some troll babies. I don't know, whatever you believe in, but do something that, to get their 3-pointers. I don't talk about the pace, because they have a higher pace in the games where they lost. So I don't talk about the pace, but it's all about making the 3-point shots. This is the first important thing. The second, and I think it's the most important thing, is their assist to turnover ratio, because they have in their wins, they have thinking about all their threes, 75% of their threes assisted. Right. So, those threes are assisted, 75% of them. So their assist to turnover ratio is the biggest difference between wins and losses. When they win the games, they have almost 22 assists and 11 turnovers. So it's 1-2, 2-1 assist to turnover ratio. But when they lose, it's 16-15. 16 assists, they go down to 16 assists, and they go down to 15 turnovers. So I think this is also very important. What I would do if I was Panathinaikos, I would try to, like I did with Nikolatis, I would try to make the ball pressure to Campazzo the whole court, like every time. Because when Campazzo, sometimes he tends to go to the rim a lot, he tends to finish himself a lot, or make Musa, Hezonja earn those shots, but do not let Campazzo to create for the others. This is the most important thing, and make them turn the ball over. I think this is the most important. Those two things, the 3-point percentage and assist to turnover ratio are the most important things.
Madrid maximizes their possessions. You're going over the 3-point thing. I'm looking here, 9 for 13 in the first half, 12 for 27. So they were 3 for 14 in the second half. If you can get them to shoot 3 for 14, you have a chance to beat Real Madrid. And like you said, get them to turn over the ball, because they get a little bit loose with the ball every now and then. But when they're sitting there spotting up open shots, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, Yabusele got, I'm looking at Yabusele here in front of me, 1 for 2 from the 3-point line, but both those 3-pointers, he had time to look at the basket and take a wide open shot. Coach, on your side of things, what do you do to beat Real Madrid? What would the first thing that you're thinking of if you're Panathinaikos' head coach? What would be your attitude? What would you be talking about right now in the video session?
I think that the guards are gonna have a lot of job to do it. I want to have players to give minutes for the defense and to give fouls for the defense. If you see the first half of Olympiacos, you see 3-4 fouls they had only. Yeah. So second, I need to make them to understanding, don't panic if they make threes. Don't look the score. I don't care about the score in the beginning in the first half. Try to press them to make them to have individual moves, to play 1-on-1, to try to use a lot of dribbling. Don't let them to share the ball, to penetrate, to give the ball to the open shots. So for me, is a lot of as Ismail said, is a big key. Who is gonna guard Campazzo? How many players they're gonna play against him? Because this guy, he wants to score. He wants if you press him.
Yeah.
Yes.
As a player by myself, when I had a player who likes to score, I wanted to press him. I want to make dribbling, to take dribbling to score, to get tired, to be don't be comfortable the rest of the players with the point guard. So for me, this is the key.
But you were scoring, eh? You were scoring, I remember.
I was going to say.
As a player, I scoring, but I wanted to play defense too. I wanted to play the best player from the opponents.
You
So for
talking
me,
about defense,
Grant is good.
defense is like me talking about defense. Hey, listen. One of the things is there's two things, and the number is 7. All right, the number I'm going to use here is the number 7 because Olympiacos only had 7 turnovers yesterday against Real Madrid. But and coach, you're going to love this, and of course, our analytical nerd, as you called yourself. I can call you that now because you've labeled yourself that. There's a difference between a turnover that is a bad pass on the baseline that goes out of bounds and the turnover that you give up at half court at the 3-point line, because Madrid turned 7 of those turnovers into 13 points on the other side. So that's the biggest part of the game. And the other number 7 is block shots, because Madrid had 7 block shots in the lane. Well, I mean, I should say 6 block shots in the lane. They had Coser's block shot at the end of the half. And those 7 block shots leads to 5 or 6 other shots that you missed because of the fact that you got those guys in. So turnovers that lead to other points and block shots that lead to fast breaks are other keys that Panathinaikos cannot afford to give up tomorrow night.
You have right, Joe. Mistakes to the hands of the opponent or block shots. That's right. That's right. I believe that too. Sometimes I say to my players, if you don't have clear pass, keep it. It's my mistake. Coach mistake. Stay comfortable.
Listen,
go back for defense.
Coach, I had a team years ago, like a young team in his high school, that we were terrible. We were terrible. We couldn't pass the ball. We couldn't play. So I would tell them, throw the ball out of bounds, and then we'll full court press, and hopefully we get a steal and make a layup.
That's right. That's right.
Great coaching, Joe. Great coaching, Joe. Hey, I'm hearing JJ Redick is taking over LA Lakers. Maybe, Joe, would you like? Are we gonna see you coaching in a EuroLeague team?
Yeah, because I'm boys with LeBron James. That's how I'm gonna get my job. but I think Ismail, like what we're talking about, only 7 turnovers for Olympiacos yesterday, and Real Madrid converts those things. And this is Panathinaikos has to control the ball. They have to control when there's one thing that I don't like about Arlauckas. I love his game. There's one thing that drives me crazy is when he dribbles the ball for 22 seconds of 24 and goes around and around and around. It drives me crazy, and a lot of that has to do because Tavares is underneath the basket. But if they do that, it's going to be a difficult game for them, and they have to move the ball, and they have to have the spacing, and Madrid's defense has to move. Madrid's defense didn't move yesterday against Olympiacos. They just went back and forth and stayed there.
This is the thing, because Olympiacos had all the parallel passes too. It's like they couldn't go to the rim, and of course you don't turn the ball over even if you had 100 passes like this between you and me. So it's like it was the normal result. But you had a great point on turnovers, because Real Madrid are like sharks. Immediately if they smell this, because yesterday I didn't see them attacking the passing lanes a lot, but they have the I call it like the ego. Like also Andrei Kirilenko had this ego, and then in 2012 he jumped for that help, and then Printezis made the shot. So they have this huge ego. They trust themselves so much on defense. So you might trick them to have the passing lanes, like jump on the passing lanes. But when you have Tavares and Yabusele, big bodies like this, they stand still in the paint. So we will see. I think tomorrow, like yesterday, we will see a lot of what so-called Spanish pick and roll options, the stack option, the down screen option from maybe for Kendrick Nunn, mostly for Kendrick Nunn. So I think it might create. Sometimes in those stack options, what Panathinaikos do is like they pop the big man out, and then even if it's Losor, they create a triangle and they create a second pass immediately, and they finish it like this, and it helps getting Tavares out of the paint. So maybe not a lot of passes, maybe allowing Kendrick Nunn to play his pull-up game, ISO game, but maybe 1, 2, 3 passes. So I'm really curious to see how Real Madrid will defend the Spanish pick and roll tomorrow. So this would be the key, because as you said, Joe, they're not moving. They're in the paint and they're everywhere. So how are you going to move them? You cannot go past by Campazzo. He's a great defender, one-on-one defender. So you have to do something, and I think that something is so-called this Spanish pick and roll, and we will see a lot of them.
We answered a question that came from one of our listeners as "Have a nice day 2450." So that was kind of our question right there. But Coach, I want to go back to you before we finish up here. We got about 5 to 10 more minutes. I think, and of course, I'm 58, Coach. How old are you? 62, 63?
Forget it.
Forget about it. Okay.
65.
65. Okay. I think, as Ismail was saying before, Schlukas, Jerry and Grant, Kendrick Nunn. I think the best thing they can do is go old school. Come off that pick and stop at the foul line. Stop at the foul line and just pull up and take a shot. Take the foul shot. Schlukas is good at this. Nunn is good at this. This is a different way to pull Tavares away from the basket and give opportunities to Matías Losor down low. It's a different way. You don't have to do this from the three-point line. You can do it from the foul line, from the angles. It's an incredible stat, but if you look at where all the shots come from in basketball today, it's only from the three-point line and in the paint. There's
layup,
yeah. So what happened to that shot? Go to the basket.
I love this pull-up. I love this pull-up from the side and from the middle, from the angle, from the free throw lines. This shot makes the big man to go out and to have another easy basket or offensive rebound from the big man. So for me, this is the key. And Panathinaikos has 3 players, as you said, to do this. Even Grigonis can help.
Yes.
Can help.
I hope nobody.
He played incredible yesterday. His minutes were so valuable. It was crazy.
That's right.
It's just.
And he's tough too.
Yeah.
I hope nobody from the NBA is watching it, because it's like a sin right now to talk about mid-range pull-ups. And I agree with you today. Oh, mid-range pull-up. Like, what I understand what they're all talking about. I understand why it's important. Mathematically, it's like, okay, if it's a dunk or a layup, it's more than 60-70% shot. And if it's a 40% three-pointer, we get it. We have we can calculate. So, but the thing is, especially in the European game, the court is smaller and it's really tough. This is why all the big coaches, all the winningest coaches talk about Željko Obradović, Ettore Messina, they're all talking about how the spacing is important. So when they're all trying to find the small space, even the slightest space. After this, it was all at first. It was just one screen and one pick and roll action, but now it's not enough. So you have to have the third man. This is why it became the stack option, and then the Spanish pick and roll came. So in a short second, I don't know. I think Real Madrid will drop, or maybe they will switch in between guards. I don't know about it, but even this small second that they have from 5 meters, 6 meters, just 1 meter, one step inside the 3-point line. I think this is very important. This mid-range pull-up. And I think it might be one of the keys of this game, as you said, Joe. This is important because of the spacing.
I think so because Capasso doesn't have the ability to go under the pick like he does with Walkup, and then you can get Capasso on your back. So to finish up here, listen, I only do what I'm told most of the time. All right. You can talk to my wife about that also if you want to, but I try to do what I'm told most of the time. So I have to ask you guys, because it's part of the whole thing, we have to ask for predictions. And I hate to do it. It's not my favorite thing to do. And if you need me to, I'll join in with you guys just to do it. I don't like to do it, and I don't like to make anybody do it. But Coach, I want to start with you. I need a prediction of who's going to win the game, and why don't we just throw in who's going to be the MVP also?
Interesting. For me, I think Panathinaikos has more opportunities to win the game because now the players has confidence. They make a great game yesterday without to be a scoring team. Just play hard. They get confidence from their defense. And I think that MVP could be none, because he has motivation for that game. He waiting for that, and Panathinaikos needs him if they want to have opportunities to win. And also, I can get also Sloukas as a MVP because Sloukas can have pull-up and he can create more than none.
Yeah,
for the rest of the players.
All right, man. I'm passing that way. I don't even know which way the screen is. I'm passing this way.
Got it, man. Well, the first thing is we're talking for 1 hour and we're analyzing the teams, and mostly we're trying to find a solution. How could Panathinaikos beat Real Madrid? So mostly the questions were on this. You know, what all the things we spoke about, can they find a slight advantage here, slight advantage there? So it's you know, we have to understand that Real Madrid is the Space Jam team to beat right now. So, you know, all the Panathinaikos players have to drink that Michael's secret stuff to play like this, you know, like this is really, we have to understand that this is David versus Goliath. So this is the first thing. The second thing is, for 1 hour, two of the legends here, we are all analyzing the game. And I'm with you guys, but two of the EuroLeague legends are here analyzing the game. So for the younger people here, for the audience, please watch the whole show, not look at on the bold statements. We are doing this just for what we have to do, because probably tomorrow most of the things we're gonna see, oh, Coach Giannakis said this, oh, Joe Arlauckas said this, you know, you see how it happened. So we have to understand those are the bold statements. Bold statements are for fun. So most of the things will happen spoken in this show. So this is a warning. Other than that, it will be to me.
Are you trying to get away from the prediction thing or what?
No. I will do my prediction. I think to me it will be Real Madrid, and the MVP would be Gershon Yabusele. I think the biggest, toughest matchup would be Yabusele, and I think he would be the deal breaker of this game. But also my dark horse for the MVP is Jana Musa. So I don't think Panathinaikos would have problems. Not problems, but they will fight till the end for sure. I think Real Madrid have to kill Panathinaikos to beat them, and they will fight until the end. But at 1 and 5, they can match up better than 4. This is what I see, because we might see, as coach said, as the question came, we might see some 8 to 10 minutes of, not 7-8 minutes of Mitoglu at 5 in this game. And it's worked. Don't forget that it worked really well against Olympiacos when they played in the league. So they might have this. So this is why I think the 4 position would be the key for Real Madrid.
I'm gonna go back to the fact that I always like the story, because not because I'm a journalist, not because I'm not any of that. I never planned to be, I never wanted to be, and I still see myself as an ex-player, but I do love stories. I love storylines. And yeah, there's a storyline of Chus Mateo coming in and winning his first 2 back-to-back. The back-to-back thing isn't so big anymore like it used to be. Before it was only Maccabi and Olympiacos, and now all of a sudden Efes did it. Madrid was 1 possession away from being a 3-peat right now,
Yes.
against Efes 3 years ago. So the story, I like this whole Ataman thing about taking Efes from the bottom to the top. And now again, taking Panathinaikos from the bottom of the top. Man, what an incredible story. And so if I'm cheering for the story, I'm cheering for Panathinaikos.
Okay.
That's correct.
If I'm being realistic, it's like you said, Ismail, you have to slay the giant. You have to kill the giant. I said this yesterday in the podcast, or in the broadcast. Easy punches aren't going to knock out the champion. You got to hit them hard, and you got to beat them.
Yeah.
So I think Real Madrid is the better team. I think we all know that, and that's a pretty basic statement. But I think the story can be really, really good. And just EuroLeague is all about stories this year. 2 teams in the same night won the 5th game on the road. Never happened before.
Yeah, I know. What about the MVP?
I didn't give you a winner yet. That's good.
All right.
And I'm not going to give you a winner. But I think if it's Real Madrid, it's going to be Capasso is going to be your MVP. And if it's Panathinaikos, I'm going to go with Nunn for your MVP. I think Nunn played, what I got here, 34 minutes yesterday, scored 14 points. He was 3 for 6 from the line. He looked good, but I just think he's got more in him. I think he's got a 28-point game in him tomorrow night.
I agree.
Fellas, That's our hour. Yeah. Coach, once again, just unbelievable honor to be here with you. I know we played against you twice. I've seen you over the years. It's been amazing. Ismail, I got to meet you face-to-face yesterday. Thank you guys so much for being on the crossover. You guys made it great. Sorry we missed David Rivers. It would have been a great conversation with one of the best point guards in EuroLeague history also, but he wasn't able to be with us. Thank you guys so much.
Huge honor. Thank you very much.
Hey,
thank you.
I'll see you guys on the floor tomorrow because, Coach, this guy's got better seats than you and I do, man.
I know, man.
That's true.
He's sitting down there with Scottie Pippen and Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, all these guys, yes.
Thank you guys. Hey,
Make
sure to leave your computers out, Coach. Don't turn anything off yet.
Okay.
All right.
Anything off, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble.
Right. Okay. All right.